Here we go. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. My name is Ben. Every day on this channel, I show you how to make money in cryptocurrency. If you like money in crypto, make sure go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I know you like money. I know you like crypto. We hyped today, guys. We hyped today. This market's back. We hadn't back at all-time highs today. We're gonna crush it. Okay, we are gonna crush it today. So we got a lot to talk about. We're gonna talk about Ethereum. It is hitting all-time highs next week. You can take that to the bank if the banks are still a thing, because we're getting rid of those. Y'all know that. Next week, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you what's happening. I'm gonna tell you why this was just a manipulative push down for Ethereum this week, and Bitcoin as well. We're getting ready to pop it. We're gonna pop it real hard. We're gonna be talking about how Ethereum can prevent hacks in cryptocurrency, which is definitely a big thing you're gonna want to find out about. I'm going to be showing you guys my Ethereum trade I've got going right now, my exact targets for that. And, right now I got some targets. We'll see if they hit. We'll see if they don't. Right now the trade is open. We'll have to see if it fills during this show or not. Showing you guys some charts. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin, be looking at Prosper. We're going to be looking at some of these freaking scammers. Scammers out there. Absolute scammers. Like Mark Cuban. We're going to tell you why he's a scammer. Why he's got there lying to you. They want to get rich. They're already rich. They don't want you to get rich. Meanwhile, your boy, I want you to make all the money. So guys, listen. Let's go ahead. I think I've been playing my song too long. I probably need to hype down on the song a little bit. Let's hype down on the song. Let's jump in. Guys, listen. I'm pissed right now. I'm really pissed. I'm going to tell you why. A guy put out his list of top 5 cringiest YouTubers, and I was not on it. Can you guys believe that? That I was not on the top list of cringy YouTubers? You guys can't see my pants right now, but I'm wearing denim on denim. How cringy is that? Huh? Okay. Listen, and I don't ever make mistakes on this channel. Dang it. I just had to admit to one yesterday. But listen, guys, here we go, okay? 200, not even 100, 264,000 subscribers. Thank you to all of the BitSquad. We are heading straight to 300K. We got some special videos for you guys coming up later this week. You guys also don't forget, what is this 86% likes? What is this about? Hey guys, go ahead and smash that like button so we can get that back up to like 98%. We're always going to have 2% haters because that's the way that it is. Got a big video on Ethereum right now, but also got another one later tonight, Ethereum 101. We're going to be breaking down what Ethereum is and why it presents such a big opportunity to make people millionaires, cash money, crypto millionaires. When is Lil Wayne going to put out a new song called Crypto Millionaires instead of Cash Money Millionaires? Okay, come on, Weezy, we need you. So guys, let's start out here. Let's start out by looking at the markets. As you guys can see right now, Ethereum going in the wrong direction from where I want it to go to fill my order. But right now it is at $1,067, up 1.22% from yesterday. Bitcoin coming in at $34,681. It just dropped there in front of our very eyes. In front of our very eyes, it dropped. So let's look at the altcoin markets right now. Yesterday, briefly, Cardano flipped Litecoin. Cardano moved up to the number 5 spot. And I tell you what's very interesting is we have not seen Polkadot's where? Not according to CoinMarketCap. Yeah, that's weird. Let's pull up CoinGecko real quick and check that out and see what's going on with that. So CoinGecko is showing different rankings here. Yeah, look at that. They've got Polkadot at number 5 with a market cap of $9.2 billion, but CoinMarketCap has the Polkadot market cap at $8.5 billion. Very interesting. That's why you guys got to take different sources into consideration. They're saying Polkadot is number 5. And here, Cardano is number 6. And look at that. Cardano did pass Litecoin. We've also got a big Ethereum Cardano video coming out here in the next few days, probably this weekend or maybe early next week, where we're going to be looking at if you could only pick one. If you could only pick one, Cardano or Ethereum, which one would you take? We're going to be pinning them against each other in a death match, okay? Now, I'll tell you this. Cardano versus Ethereum in a death match, I don't know who wins, okay? But if we were to take the original founders of Ethereum and pin them together, I want you guys to tell me, or pit them together, I want you to tell me which one do you think would win, okay? Here is Vitalik Buterin showing up. Look at this. Absolutely a beast. So huge and swole. Here he is in the midst of a thumb war battle. A thumb war with a guy with a ponytail or with a man bun. I don't know which one is more masculine here. I'll be honest with you. Vitalik or Mr. Man Bun. But you can tell in this thumb war game, I mean, Vitalik's got the upper thumb. So who's going to win? Vitalik or this freaking beast of a man, okay? You can't tell me that this guy right here is not one of the most swole, freaking killer dudes you've ever seen. So just keep in mind, who are you going to take? You going to take this guy? You going to take Vitalik? Or are you going to take this guy? Or are you going to take this guy right here? I'm telling you. I mean, if it came down to a death match, I'm taking this guy all day long. He would freaking smash Vitalik. So anyways, guys, we will be talking about Cardano versus Ethereum in a later video this week. But let's check out, and I tell you, the very interesting thing when you start really looking at these caps is, never have the five, well, I mean, they have been before, but not in a long time have the 5, 6, 7, 8 coins been so close to XRP, been so close to that number 4 spot. And you got to think, even though they're being accused of manipulation, that's what the entire thing is about regarding, TJ just messed up my train of thought over here. Okay, TJ just messed me up. People said they don't want to hear TJ's voice in the background anymore. That's what they say. So instead, now he's sending me messages on a phone. I'm having to stare at it, okay? But the thing is here is that XRP, and they're being accused by manipulation by the SEC. You got to think that they got to be manipulating that price to keep it there. I mean, there's no way you can be bullish on XRP right now with the SEC news. I mean, it's still hovering around 30 cents right now. So you got to think that XRP is going to be moving quickly, I would say, down to number 9. I don't think Stellar will pass it anytime soon. But you got to say these ones, Polkadot, Bitcoin Cash, Cardano, Litecoin, they're all having really bullish momentum right now. You got to think that they are going to move ahead of XRP soon. And then, with the Tether news, we have Tether negative news as well. You got to think that it also could see some downward action. So just looking at the overall biggest gainers of the day. No, leave it there. It's fine. I'm going to use it. Guys, biggest gainers of the day in the top 100. We have Thorchain Rune. People like Rune, I hear. Voyager token, which I didn't know Voyager had their own token. Is this a new thing? Exchange token, kind of like Binance Coin, Voyager token. ZRX up 23% today. Hedera, a lot of you guys want me to make a Hedera Hashgraph video. We will be making that video here pretty soon. Zcash, Aave, and look at IOST moving up, pamping finally after all this time. And I think they're getting ready to kick me out of their little club, their little communist China club. So Sushi, Polkadot, Compound, all these up over 15%. Ocean Protocol, big partnership coming. I'll just say that. Synthetics continuing to move up 13%. Ren, which I've been loading up on lately, up 13%. We got so many big gainers here. Blockstack up 11%, a project we covered recently. You guys know I love Blockstack. Talked about it a good bit. The graph. This one right here, I've been buying this one. This one has got a good opportunity, I think, because if you look at the graph chart, you will see that it had a huge run right out of the gate, and then it's dropped. And it seems like right now it may be getting maybe getting ready to make another run. Obviously, it couldn't support the massive run up that it had in the past, like when it launched. But now I think Graph could be ready to head back up. So it doesn't surprise me. It's up 13% today. I think 7 days from now, we'll look back on the week, and it'll be a positive week for Graph. So that's a look at the numbers on CoinMarketCap from MarketWatch. So let's go ahead. Dang, TJ. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll just watch on the clock. It'll be fun. So guys, look at the Ethereum chart here. So the Ethereum chart, I made this little line yesterday at some point. This is the 4-hour chart. You can see it's kind of playing out here. And if you watched our video with CryptoFace yesterday, you would have seen that he was saying basically we're just kind of waiting to see on the downside how big this bottom wave is going to be. Okay, how big is this bottom wave going to be in the different charts? Like if we go and we look at the 1 hour chart, you guys can see, I mean, look how perfect this played out on the 1 hour chart. So the long and the short of it is, it looks like if this were to bounce again off of the line that we've got currently, it's going to be somewhere on the 1 hour chart, somewhere in between 1020 and 1030. It could easily bounce off. Now it may break out above this line. In the short term, I'm kind of looking for the price to dip down just a little bit and then bounce back up. If you look right here at this wick, what's this wick coming out at? This wick right here, 1045. That was the last wick down. That was about 4 hours ago. Outside of that, we haven't had a drop under 1045 since yesterday. It looks about probably like 8 to 10 hours ago. So the Ethereum chart is looking pretty good, guys. And I think that we have seen the bottom. I'm not afraid to go against the tide. I mean, I saw Ivan, I saw Crypto yesterday. Look, I like these guys. Don't get me wrong. We're all friends. Basically, all of the YouTubers are friends, outside of like 1 to 2 people. I'll say that. No names, but the rest of us are friends, and we talk. And Ivan and I are actually doing a collaboration here pretty soon. In the next couple of days, interviewing him probably in the morning tomorrow. But Ivan and Crypto both were talking about this head and shoulders pattern, about how it was going to drop, how, it could be heading down to $30,000 price of Bitcoin, they're saying. And obviously the price of Bitcoin goes down to $30,000. Ethereum could dip back down to 900. What's that? Lark, even old, used to call him Crypto Lark. Now would you call him Lark Davis? Okay. Even Lark was talking about how it can go down. And look, guys, when you're on YouTube, it is the popular thing to do to go with the dramatic. Like, one day we're on the moon, the next day we're crashing to the bottom of the ocean. And I get that. Obviously, our thumbnails will be like that sometimes. But if you actually listen to what I say, I have convictions, and I will stand by those convictions. And I did not think we were going lower. I thought that we bottomed out around 915 for Ethereum and around 30,500. You guys saw me call the exact bottom while we were live streaming. I called the exact bottom while we were live streaming. And when you look at the Bitcoin chart, which we will be looking at a little bit later, you guys will see that I did literally call the exact bottom, 30,500. And it's not going lower than that. I mean, when you look at the line's too perfect. Like, yeah, there's a little bit of room right here, but the line was just too perfect not to be the bottom there. And basically, if we break off of this trend line, price is going down much further. So it doesn't make sense to say that the price is going to drop to like $30,000 or something like that right now. If it does, it's probably going lower. It's probably going to $28,000. And some people are calling for that. Even, Carl from the Moon was saying, like, if we drop below a certain number, we could be dipping down, for Bitcoin to, $20,000 where we head back up. I don't think that's true. I don't live and die on the here and now of this chart. I don't get caught up in the sentiment and the momentum of that sentiment, because yesterday all of a sudden we have a head and shoulders pattern on the chart and everybody's saying, oh, we're going down, we're going down. That's prisoner of the moment, in my opinion. Every time that we've been backed into a corner with Ethereum or Bitcoin over this bull run, to where like it fits a pattern that could be somewhat bearish, it always is breaking to the bullish side regardless. That's called a bull market. That's called a bull market, and that's definitely what we're seeing. So what am I seeing in the chart for Ethereum right now? I mean, right now I'm basically seeing that we are on an uptrend again. We have bottomed. We are on an uptrend. If you're leverage trading with Bybit, which I'll be talking about my trade here in a minute, which I think I'm going to cancel right now because I actually want to make a lower price point on that. We'll be talking about my trade. I'll be setting a trade live on air, but I want to cancel that one because now that I'm really looking at this chart, I had to rethink something that I was thinking, because I actually am now sitting here staring at it and thinking that my price target was a little too high. Because I do think, we're going to bounce off this line again. I mean, we're going to bounce off this line again, and it just depends on when we do it. If we did it this afternoon, we could bounce somewhere in the 1030s, and that could be the case. So anyways, the point is Ethereum is going up. And in my opinion, Ethereum is heading back to all-time highs. I definitely think we're heading to all-time highs, and this article's got a lot of good stuff, on it. But I've been saying all week that I believe that Thursday is the big day. That is tomorrow. Not the day we hit all-time highs, but tomorrow is the day that we are going to be going back up. We're going to have a very significant day tomorrow. Why? Well, we can talk about some of the technicals and why I believe that it could be the case. But just from a fundamental perspective, tomorrow we're getting a lot of news from Washington, okay? We're going to be getting a lot of news from Washington. We're going to be getting, from what I understand, we're going to be hearing Joe Biden's stimulus plan tomorrow. And that stimulus plan is going to include $3 trillion in money printing, which is going to include $2,000 payments for the American people. And, that's what Donald Trump wanted as well, was $2,000 payments, and we only got $600. I actually am not receiving a stimulus, I've discovered, which is fine. I don't need a stimulus. I'm not going to tear up a free government check, but I certainly don't need one. And, a lot of people are in that position. So we're just going to print money for people that don't need it all over again. Now, how many times will we get a $2,000 stimulus over Joe Biden's presidency or this year? It could be a lot. It could be several times. But the $600 bribe that people received over the last month was a joke. Now, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about the mind of an investor. The mind of a new retail investor. I'm not talking about a savvy person, someone who's been in the market for a while. You are seeing the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum go up, okay? You are looking at these prices and you're saying to yourself, man, I wish I would have got some of that. Then all of a sudden you get a big dip, the price drops down, there's a little bit of fear, okay? Then it gets announced while it's down a little bit that you're getting a $2,000 check per person. So you could be getting, up to, if you get $2,000 for your kids too, for a family of 5, you could be getting up to 10 grand. When you get a $600 check right after Christmas, you are not thinking like, hey, I want to throw this money into an investment. You're thinking, I need this for whatever, I need this to pay a bill. I need this. $600 is just not significant. Even if you do the math of investing $600 into an asset and you say like, okay, if it triples, I got $2 grand. A year from now, if I got because they're not thinking the crazy 10x's like we are. Like, okay, I got $2 grand in a year. Like, how is that going to really change your year? It's probably not. But now you're looking at a $2,000 check and you're saying, okay, $2,000. That thing goes up. We get $10,000 as a family. We take half of that money. We use it for what we need, and then we take half of that and we use it for, for investment. Like now, we've been able to pay some bills, get ahead on some stuff, and we got something in an asset that can appreciate over time. And I think that is going to be huge. Like, there's a huge difference between a $600 check and a $2,000 check. Now, I don't know Joe Biden's plan yet, so I can't say, we haven't seen it for sure. So I don't know if it's going to be a $10,000 payment to families if, you have 3 kids like they did last time, that was the maximum, or if maybe they gave you $1,000 per dependent or whatever. But, people are getting big checks, and they're going to be getting them soon. And that's just a fact of the matter. And if the government is going to push forward a narrative of multiple stimulus checks, okay, over this year, then I think we could also see the birth of the digital dollar this year. Maybe XLM could have something to do with it, something to look at. XLM, USDC, those are, some places to definitely be watching. But the Ethereum price ready to hit a new all-time high above $1,400 as buying pressure remains high. This is so pivotal, guys. Started looking down here at this article. You just see the outlier that this red candle was. And you see how high it bounced back up so quickly. But this is one thing that, when you really start digging into this stuff, you really see where prices get pushed down, manipulation. Since December 15th, Ethereum's price has increased more than 130%. However, the number, I'm pointing at the screen, you can't see my finger, but I'm pointing here, okay? I'm pointing here. The number of whales holding the digital asset did not decrease. Whales are not selling, guys. What does that tell you? If the whales are not selling, what does this tell you? We're not close to the top yet, okay? Whales sell the top. That's how you know the top is in. When the whales start dumping the price en masse, we have hit the peak of this bull run, and it will be in September or October. Furthermore, the number of Ethereum inside exchanges has also dropped since December 2020 despite the rise in prices. This metric indicates that there is less selling pressure overall. Less selling pressure, the same amount of whales, and then we also have the IO map, okay, which is not a map of the Indian Ocean. Could be. That's what IO stands for. If you guys didn't know that, whenever you go somewhere .io, The .io, it actually stands for Indian Ocean. A lot of people think it stands for input output, like AOHK from Cardano. What's that? Like IOHK. Oh, yeah, like IOHK. What'd I say? I said IOHK. May have pronounced it weird, but that's, input, output, Hong Kong, but IO and the .io actually stands for Indian Ocean, and it was just adopted by technology companies. You guys can look that up, and you guys will see that, as always, I'm correct. But anyways, the point is, the in-out of the money around price shows only one significant resistance level between $1,160 and $1,194. A breakout above this point can quickly push the digital asset up to the last high of 1348 and potentially to a new all-time high. Once we can get back to $1,200, you can go ahead and bet that we are heading right back up to all-time highs. It also says there is little support below the 1080 area. Losing this level could drive the price down to $900 again. So it is definitely possible that we could, but at the same time, we are right now at 1060. I mean, so we are below that area. I'm sure they were talking about that was written sometime in this range right here. But I don't think, I guess if you look here, if you look here at the chart, you got to see around 1040 and 1060. There's a little bit of support. You have some wicks here that go down, but not a lot of significant support or resistance really down here in between 900 and 1080. So even if it did drop below that, which I don't think that it will, according to our trend line here, even if it did, I don't see any way it drops down below 900. I mean, that would create a whole new line. We're basically in sideways action right now. So let's move on and let's talk a little bit more about Ethereum. Today's an Ethereum special show. We're going to be talking Bitcoin a little bit later on. Valid points. See, that's a pun. That's what we call a nerd pun. They're talking about validators and they say valid points. What a freaking dork. That's all I got to say. Whoever wrote this, William Foxley and Christine Kim, y'all are dorks. I'm sorry. I just want to tell y'all that. So, guys, it says the price dips 60,000 validators. There are 60,000 validator nodes right now. And ETH 2.0's graffiti messages. This is kind of a fun story to look at these graffiti messages. But the real thing is look how many of these freaking validators there are. 60,000 validator nodes that have 32 nodes minimum locked up on them. Let's do that math real quick. Let's do the math here. We got 32 times, this is easy math. Why am I even doing this? 60,000. That means that there is 1.9 million minimum ETH locked up right now. 1.9 million minimum. And I think there's actually a lot more than that. So I wonder what the average amount locked up is. Can you check that out and see how much ETH is locked up on the validator nodes? Because it's actually a lot more than that. So 1.9 million minimum. But let's look at this graffiti message. I thought this was pretty cool. Oh, here it is. It says right here. Never mind. I don't need that. So 2.4 million. So right there, that shows you that only about 25 to 30% of the validator nodes are locking up more than 32 ETH. That's interesting. So a lot of people are locking up those minimums. And so basically the average income, and see, guys, this is why I don't do staking. Like, this is so stupid. The average income for you is $10 a day. You're making about $300 a month on your validator node. Now, if the price of Ethereum goes way up, I mean, obviously that number is going to go way up. But I mean, to me, I would rather have my money liquid if I need to trade it or need to get out of it or whatever. I just refuse to lock up all my ETH for $10 a day. I'm sorry. Now, if I locked up all our ETH, I mean, it would be significantly more than that. But even if it was $100 a day, it wouldn't be worth it to me. Would not be worth it to me to lock up all my ETH. Okay, I mean, you can't ever get it out, right? Isn't that right? Once you lock it up, it's gone. For a certain amount of lockup, it's gone. And I need to stay liquid. I like liquid. Okay, I really like liquid. But you come down here and you look at these. So if you didn't know, when Satoshi created the first Bitcoin block, there was a message hidden in it. The Times, the 3rd of January 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for bank. Kind of just mocking the current bailout situation that was going on that Bitcoin was birthed out of. And let's see. So a note on the launch of ETH 2.0, there was one built in, a little graffiti note. It says, Mr. F was here. So pretty interesting. But the point is that people are putting a lot of these little graffiti messages into these Ethereum blocks. Just little messages. Like here's one that says, why hodl when you can stake? See? Why stake when you could trade? That's what I would say. Here are some of the messages that are built in. Just some, like, it looks like graffiti. I mean, it's new age graffiti. These are new age nerds. Okay. But anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about the next thing, which I thought this was super interesting. Okay. DeFi coverage protocol expands protection against centralized exchange hacks. And I do not think this is a press release. This is not put out. Sometimes when you go Cointelegraph, especially, Cointelegraph like to make that money. I don't think CoinDesk does paid press releases anymore, but Bitcoin.com, Cointelegraph, they definitely put out paid press releases. And you guys just got to make sure you dig. When you're looking at these stories, you got to make sure that these are actually, make sure that these are actual stories written by the free will of the place that's writing it, and not like a place sends them an article that says, hey, cover us. Because then it is not quite as legit. I mean, you guys know, sponsor content just, it's not that it's not as legit, it's just you would rather when you're reading a story about something great, it not necessarily be sponsored. So we're not really doing sponsored videos on the channel that much anymore at all. We're doing partnerships and advisor roles. We're covering with projects like YFDI, Ferrum Network, Smart Key. There's some others out there floating around we're kind of looking at. But like one-off videos, we're not really doing those anymore because we want to make sure we're providing maximum value to the audience. And they're not getting, it's not getting where it may not be exactly like we discover a project. Like we like to discover projects. Zero Chain is one we've been talking about a lot that we discovered that has not paid us anything. So this is a DeFi protocol called Nexus Mutual, okay? Basically what this is, you can think of this, even though it says in this article, and we'll look at it in a second, it's technically not insurance. This is basically insurance for centralized exchange hacks, because I keep money on exchanges. You guys hear people all the time say like, oh, you shouldn't put money on exchanges. What if I need to trade the mother trucker? Okay, we need to trade it right then. Now, I don't have all my money on exchanges by any stretch of the imagination. Definitely have self-custody on some. But I've got exchange accounts all around the world. I've got several, and I keep some money in some of them. So that way, if I want to trade, if a new project comes out and I want to move some money over there, I can do it quickly. But it definitely comes with a risk of, if you get hacked, what are you going to do? By the way, simple way to solve this. There's two simple ways that you can completely, almost 100% solve getting hacked on exchanges. Number one, don't click any links or give anyone your private key information. That's number one. If you want to go to Uniswap, type in uniswap.com, okay? Don't Google Uniswap and then hit it, because sometimes they actually have this thing where they'll do paid ads. Scammers will, and you'll click at the top link, and it's not the real one. That's actually how one of my friends lost like $30,000 over the summer. Gave him his private key. You don't have to type your private key in to get into Uniswap, okay? You connect a wallet to it. Keep that in mind. Somebody will send you an email that's got a link in it that's like, hey, this account got compromised. Log in here to make sure that you're okay. Well, that's the scam. They're trying to get you to log in order to steal your crypto and get it, access to your money. So that's number one. Don't click on links. Don't click on emails. Okay, don't click on links. Don't click on emails. Number two, don't have your actual major carrier phone number tied to anything. Go get yourself a sideline. Get yourself a second line with GoDaddy, or a second line, a burner phone that's not tied to Sprint, T-Mobile, Verizon, or AT&T, because that's where people are SIM card swapping people, and you cannot stop a SIM card swap. Don't think like, it won't happen to me. It can, absolutely. If they think you have crypto, they will do it. Or actually, it's not even if they think you have crypto. They just SIM card swap all types of people, jump into your email. Make sure your phone number is not attached to your email address. Even though they want to force that on you, don't do it, okay? And then, you have no way for them to access stuff, because what they'll do is they'll SIM card swap your phone. They'll get access to your phone. You're locked out from it. Then they're able to get access to your email because they have access to your phone at that point. Now, all this happens in about 5 to 10 minutes, okay? Once you go to your email, they just Google Coinbase or search Coinbase in your email, and then, there it is, or Binance or whatever it is. They search like a bunch of companies, search private keys, search whatever. They find what's in there, and they're able to hack you. And they get into your exchange account, and they steal all your crypto. Actually, happened to J Chains like a couple weeks ago. You guys probably saw that on Twitter. I pointed because he's back here. But something else that now they have that can help you prevent that was just kind of a side note, was a DeFi coverage protocol called Nexus Mutual. Okay, users trading on Binance, Kraken, Coinbase, and Gemini are now able to buy protection in the event of an exchange hack or prolonged withdrawal downtime. This could be like if the site goes down and you can't withdraw your crypto, and then the price plummets while that's going on, which is something we see sometimes. It says this is part of their custody cover initiative. Let's see. Compensation of custodian is hacked and the user loses more than 10% of their funds, or somebody withdraws, extends withdrawals for 90 days. The coverage is quite expensive. For example, a Binance coverage claim for 10 Ether lasting 365 days requires paying a premium of more than 3 ETH or 30% of the coverage amount. Still, these may be temporary figures. For example, the yearly coverage cost for BlockFi and Celsius is just over 2%, while covering other providers is more expensive. And that right there is kind of a hidden thing that shows you how secure they think BlockFi and Celsius are. They think they're extremely secure, so it's only 2%. While as with Binance, it's 30%. So what does that tell you about Binance? Tells you something. Nexus is not technically an insurance provider, but I thought this was really interesting. Was the founder of Nexus Mutual, Hugh Karp, was recently hacked via a malicious MetaMask extension, with the attackers stealing a significant portion of his Nexum tokens. So pretty interesting. I guess that's probably why he founded this, was because he got hacked through a MetaMask extension, and he decided, I'm going to start this, and I want to have other people be protected. But I can tell you this, you got to do some math here, okay? If you're on Binance and it costs 30% of the coverage cost, if you do some math on what the chances are of you getting hacked on Binance are compared to that 30% coverage cost, I would say it probably is not worth it at that rate. But I think the real reveal here is how unsecure they feel like Binance is. God, I'm getting hot in here, guys. It's getting hot in here. I'm going to take off all my clothes. Sorry. Not all of them. Well, TJ said not all of them. I'm already not wearing pants. But I got this shirt on, guys. Okay, I got this shirt on. Oh, I lied. I said I was wearing denim on denim. It's because I've got denim boxers on. They're not that comfortable. Kind of itchy. That's me itching myself. You guys didn't know. Please, nobody clip that. Okay. So let's move on and let's talk about next thing. Let's talk about my ETH trade. Now, tell you what I was doing. I did have an ETH trade here set just a minute ago for 1050. This was when I said the price. I said the trade about the price was around 1055. But I tell you what, now that I've really been looking at this chart, I think I've decided I really am going to wait. It should have one more pretty big dip, going somewhere in the 1020 range. So I think that would be a pretty good trade to set around 1020. I'll have to see kind of what the momentum looks like. I was going to show you the trade that I had open, but now I've decided I don't think that one's good. So let's kind of see what Market Cypher is saying here about the price. Let's see if we can maybe set a trade while we're live here. We may set it right back for the same thing. We may do it. I don't know. Let's check out some of the shorter time frames. Let's see if we can get a little pop off in the 15-minute chart here. Well, when you look at the 15-minute chart, pretty interesting. It looks about like, it's pretty interesting. If you look here, and then you look here, it looks like a pretty similar pattern, really. That would kind of indicate it is going to come back down and touch this line. And my real inclination right here would be probably to short it, but we don't short. We don't short in bull markets. We just don't do it. We wait for the trend. We wait for it to confirm on the way up. So that's a 15-minute chart. We'll look at the 5-minute chart. I just like to get a little trade going while everybody's alive right now. But it does look like, unfortunately, it is going to go down just a little bit. We don't want to force it. Yeah, we don't want to force it. And I was hoping I had one set right before we started. I was thinking it was going to wick down and get the 1050 and fill the order, but it didn't get, And so now, and I think this is a principle for you guys to understand when you're trading, okay? Which is, if you're over here on Bybit, now, of course, if you want to sign up for Bybit, you can do that by visiting bybit.BitBoy.Live, okay? You can enter the code JACKPOT on the Rewards Hub, and you can get a $500 deposit bonus. We also have a big trading competition coming next week, or signups will be next week, so you guys make sure to come sign up. We're going to have 1 Bitcoin on the line for that. But here's a very important principle for you guys that are trading. Like, when you are setting a price point for something you want to get filled, like if I wanted to go, I said this one was about $1,055, $1,055. I was expecting it to come down to $1,050 and get filled and then bounce back up. I had that trade open. Well, now the price went all the way up over the last hour to like $1,080. Now, if that downward momentum carries back to $1,050, chances are it's going to come closer to that bottom trend line, and I'll get stopped out real quick. So now it's better for me to wait, be patient, pull my order, and just kind of watch the charts and see, exactly what I think is going to happen from here. So right now, my inclination would be to short it, but I'm not shorting in a bull market. You guys know that. So what I'm going to wait for, I'm going to wait to see when we get a big wick down, and then I'm going to figure out where that thing settles, and then I'm going to pop my long. So I did make a trade yesterday that we did not look at on air because I had not made it yet. I moved over our Ethereum yesterday. I split my Bitcoin. I had 3 Bitcoin on here. I split it into half Ethereum and 1.5 BTC here on Bybit. I might withdraw some of this money here soon. We've done pretty good. If you look at our closed P&L over the last few days, you guys can see this number went up. We are now up almost $28,000 in Bitcoin, and this is just over the last week. And we are up $20,000 in Ethereum. We have not made an Ethereum trade since. Here, let's look at our Ethereum trades here. We're 7 out of 10 in our last Ethereum trades. And we haven't made one since the 10th. What's today, the 13th? We haven't made an Ethereum trade in 3 days because I've been trading Bitcoin. So if we go back and we look at Bitcoin, I'll show you guys my trade I made yesterday, which was I jumped in at 34,100 and it popped up to 34,268. And it's kind of sad. I think I'm going to tell the story. It's kind of sad, guys. I'll tell you guys what happened yesterday. Pretty sad. I had to put down my oldest dog, Milo. He's my boy's dog, my oldest boy's dog. He's 9. My child is 9. Did not put down the child. Will not be doing that. But we did have to put down his dog, and it's very sad. We brought Milo into the house right after me and my wife got married, and I'm going to try not to cry. And we'd had him our whole marriage, it's like our dog, like our family dog, We've got 5 dogs, so we got lots of dogs. But that was the one that's been with us the longest. And when my first child was born, my first son, he growled at him a few times. We had to send him out to doggy boot camp. He didn't like the change. And then when he came back, my son was his dog, or that dog was my son's. My child was the dog's child. And he knew that. He slept with him his whole life. And, always with him. And we had to put him down yesterday. It was very sad. And so this trade was going on in the middle of all that. So I'm having to deal with I'm crying like a baby. Okay. Crying like a baby. My family's in there. Everybody's crying. We're at the vet. And daddy's watching his Bitcoin trade at the same time. So through the tears, I'm watching. And it did go all the way up to 34,350 a little bit after I closed the trade. But I was just so emotionally wrecked. And I had a higher price target in mind, but I was so emotionally wrecked at that point. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to close the trade. So I closed the trade. We made a 0.12 BTC profit right there. What is that, TJ? What's 0.12 BTC right now? About $4,000. $4,000, something like that. Is that right? I thought it was more than that. Yeah, see what that is exactly. It's probably 0.4. 0.122. Seems like a 4,200. So made a little $4,200 pop yesterday. Pretty good. But if you look at our trades, man, we're killing it right now. We're 8 out of our last 10. And one of those is a pretty big hit. We lost 0.15, but you can see, that we lost that on a trade. I mean, I made it back yesterday. We made that back like 5 times over. So definitely being patient right now and really letting the trades come to us instead of forcing the trades. And that's why I got out of this one. So who knows? It could end up being a good trade. Maybe it'll come down, pop down 1050. But I expect if it goes down to $1,050, it will go down a little bit further. It did have, what we did have on a different chart with a 30-minute chart. Did have a pretty good candle a couple hours ago. I guess here it was about two hours ago. I mean, we had a pretty good little run up. So I'm expecting it to drop down a little bit. We'll go ahead and secure the bag. I use, well, you guys can see right here. On Ethereum, I use 15x. Bitcoin, I use about 10 to 15x. It doesn't seem like right now is a good time to use 25x. That's kind of my go-to. I like 25x a lot because the upside is so high. But the problem with that right now is Bitcoin is just so freaking volatile. Like, you can just get wicked out so quick on a 25x. 10x is pretty much minimum. If I'm in a longer-term trade, like, I'll do 5x. Basically, like, if I'm pretty confident the price is going to be going up over the long term, like over the next week, I feel like we had bottomed out, I'll put a 5x on just to kind of like just enhance the trade, just enhance my Bitcoin holdings. But in general, like, I'm looking for big pops. That's what I'm looking for. And so that's why I like about 10, 15x. I'll probably actually, to be honest with you guys, lower. Ethereum is getting pretty volatile right now too, so I'll probably lower my Ethereum leverage to 10 for this next trade too. You have hardly any wiggle room. Like, if you kind of look at the wiggle room on this, if I were to put in this order price at 1050, quantity 700,000 contracts, and I want to take profit. If I put 100%, I could double my Ethereum holdings if it goes up to 1166, which, I mean, it'll probably go to pretty quick. But if you look on the downside, like I usually set it somewhere between 5 and 15%. I mean, I would just have down to 1044 for 5%, 1034 for 15%. But if I catch this at a lower price point, like let's say this thing drops down to 1020, it drops down to 1020, then I would have all the way down to like $1,004 for a 15% loss. So, I mean, you guys can see it. I mean, it's quick. That's why it's so important that you wait for the bottom of these moves and that you don't catch a falling knife, because you catch a falling knife, you are getting stopped out. And if you don't set it with a stop loss, you are getting liquidated pretty easy. At 5%, but look at 5%, or at 5x. At 5x, that's why 5x is not safe. I mean, it's definitely not safe. No leverage trading is like completely safe. Just like no sports gambling is completely safe. There's no, I mean, Bitcoin's not completely safe. Nothing's completely safe in the world where you're risking something to get something back, okay? But if you look at that, at 5x, it would have to drop all the way down to $990. It'd have to go down below $1,000 for me to get stopped out and lose 5%. And if I were to remove the stop loss, I wonder what my liquidation point would be. I'd have to actually hit the trade to see. Liquidation point would be unavailable margin. I'm not going to mess with this right now, but the liquidation point would probably be somewhere around 900, 900, 800. And I think at 900, you would feel pretty safe. The price isn't going to go down around that number. I don't think it is anyways. I think we bottomed out. So like, I would feel confident in that, but I would still not feel confident enough to risk my entire stack, and that's why using stop losses and just taking 15, like if you look at these hits I've taken on our losses that we made, like only our 2 losses, that we've had on Bitcoin over the last week or so. Yeah, about 1 week. But you guys can see our losses. I mean, we had one. It's a big hit because you lose 15%. This one was a much smaller one. I think this was one where I realized it was a falling knife and I just got out of it. But you definitely got to be careful because a 15% hit on 3 Bitcoin is $15,000. And to make that up on the top side, you're going to have to now increase the percentage that you win in order to get, to catch that. So make sure you guys are catching the bottoms. All right, so let's move on. I want to talk about Prosper briefly for a second before we move on to talking about Bitcoin. You guys know we talked about Prosper on the channel the other day. This was a project that is a prediction market. Speaking of predictions and prediction markets, they did have their results from their prediction mining. I have a bag of this, so just being fully transparent. But if you look here at the results, they were very good. A lot of people really liked this prediction market, and it says that they had an unexpected success. We've received an overwhelming amount of requests and feedback from the community side. But there's one thing we can tell you for sure: Prosper.so, that's the URL, is now officially the fastest growing prediction market platform. And if you didn't know, the previous one was Augur. It had a peak volume of 3,454,000, and this one was much, much, much higher than that. So right now it is the fastest. So this was during Augur peak volume when the presidential election was going on, which was interesting. But the next steps for Prosper is going to be token distribution and listing, bug fixes, Oracle price feed upgrade, UI improvements, and Prosper DAO and Smart Treasury release. The PROS token distribution and listing is already on its way. Make sure that you are following only legit social media channels. So, I mean, the whole thing with this project, I can tell you, like, there's a lot of projects out there that just kind of pop up overnight and you have no idea what they are, and they come and they go, and they're rug pulls and they're all kinds of stuff. Prosper is definitely a legit company. That's it. Prosper is definitely a legit prediction market. Look for them to be kind of a player in the game. That doesn't mean the price is going to go to the moon overnight or anything like that, but this is one to definitely kind of keep your eye out on, because Augur, it's one of the oldest ERC20s out there, one of the first tokens built on Ethereum. Augur ain't sexy. Nobody gets excited over Augur. I'm just going to be honest with you. So this could kind of be a competitor to them. So let's move on. Let's look at the Bitcoin chart here. Looking at the Bitcoin chart, I mean, we're bouncing pretty consistently off these lines here on the 4-hour chart. We did get a green dot for the first time since, when is that? The first time since December the 11th. And when you look at the trend line, I mean, it didn't, once again, kind of like when we looked at Ethereum, you do have a little bit of room over here where it didn't exactly touch the line, but it was close enough to, definitely be considered on this trend line. So I'm thinking with Bitcoin, kind of where I'm considering longing at would be, somewhere along this trend line when it hits it again. So, golly, what's wrong with me? Okay, so sometimes, man, this freaking thing, it drives me crazy. Okay, so let's extend this out a little bit. Let's kind of look at some price targets for longing Bitcoin, where you kind of want to be longing it at. Yeah, you guys definitely make sure you're in Ethereum before Thursday, and if you're going to get in a Bitcoin trade, I definitely think sometime over the next day you want to get in as well. I think Ethereum and Bitcoin are both going to be going up over the next week. I think Thursday's your day. Tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow is the day this market turns around. We're heading back up. People forget about this dip. Tomorrow is the day. I feel very, very, very strongly about that. You got other people out there telling you, be careful, be cautious, and I don't want you to lose all your money. But the way I'm working right now, and I'm working on this, is I am working off of the presupposition that tomorrow is the big day. We could see a dramatic dip at some point today, kind of consolidation, getting ready for that. But when you're looking at the numbers between today and tomorrow, I would be looking somewhere around 31,200 could be a place where it dips back down to. That could be the dramatic dip. I think anytime you can get Bitcoin under $32,000 today, I think you scoop it up. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to go down that low, but those are the numbers I'm kind of looking at. Yes? Yeah. So if it goes down even in the 33,000 even range, right at $33,000, that could also be a good spot to put in a long. I know I've got my Bybit money moved around, so I can take advantage of this dip for Bitcoin or Ethereum. So I expect Bitcoin to have a plunge at some point today down below 34,000, a pretty strong one, and that's where I'm looking probably to scoop up Ethereum and Bitcoin for those trades. Now, here's something about Bitcoin, guys. That's pretty insane. There's roughly $140 billion of inaccessible Bitcoin. This is kind of a long-term Bitcoin story. 20% of the world's limited supply of Bitcoin. Here's what could happen to it. And I don't really care about what can happen to it, okay? Because the fact is, think about this, guys. What they're saying here is almost a quarter of the supply, or 20% of the supply, is locked away and can never be touched. That's pretty significant. I mean, that's like about 3.5 million coins. Okay, 3.75 million Bitcoin. That suddenly makes the rarity of Bitcoin even more increased. That means instead of a circulating supply of 18.5 million, a total supply of 21 million, that we're really having like a circulating supply of like, 15 million, and a total supply ever, a max supply of like 17 million. I mean, that's really what you should be taking away from this. The scarcity of Bitcoin that makes it gives it its value is even higher than we talk about that it really is. But if these are people that basically mined Bitcoin early on, forgot about Bitcoin. Like we were talking about a guy on Reddit say yesterday, he found 127 Bitcoin on a wallet he had forgotten about on an old computer. Because back then you didn't really care. Like it wasn't worth that much, like even when it was around $10, like if you had 20 of them, you had $200. I mean, that wasn't that much money, To some people it is, but to most people, $200, you could probably lose it and be fine. Not obsess over losing $200, which I did lose $100 yesterday out of my pocket. I had $200 cash, believe it or not. And then I got home and my 5-year-old said, "Dad, you'll not believe what happened. I found $100. It's like, son, that's mine. I'm going to need that back. So the point is, people could have lost this, not really cared. And that's why there wasn't a lot of security taken and ownership of this Bitcoin early on. But now it's added to the rarity, it's added to the scarcity. People are looking for solutions for this, 3.5 million Bitcoin that's missing. There is no solution. If we had a way to recover that 3.5 million Bitcoin or 3.75 million BTC, that means that the entire thing we're doing is worthless, right? Because if you can recover, Bitcoin with lost passwords, then that means hackers could get your Bitcoin. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But this is a long-term good story for Bitcoin because it does, it basically adds to the value of your bags. And guys, this is the last thing I want to talk about here today, which is Mark Cuban. He says cryptos trade, right? Not crypto trades. The cryptos trade. Anyone who says cryptos, I'm sorry, they don't know what they're talking about. Any person that says the word cryptos, get the F out of my face. There's no such thing as cryptos. Okay, it's either crypto, it's like deer. I ain't going hunting deers this weekend. I'm going hunting deer. Actually, I'm going hog hunting this weekend, okay? But, you don't say deers, you say deer. It's either crypto or it's cryptocurrencies. Don't say cryptos. Please don't say that. You sound like a douche. Cryptos trade is exactly like the internet stock bubble, but Mark Cuban thinks Bitcoin can survive. And this is what this guy is doing. Mark Cuban has talked out of both sides of his mouth about Bitcoin for such a long time. He says, it's going to zero. He says it's not worth anything. He says it's for criminals. Now it's coming out that he's saying he owns Bitcoin. He owns crypto. He thinks it's going to do okay. He thinks it's going to do well. Dallas Mavericks, the first company or the first NBA team to accept Bitcoin for their season tickets. You could have actually paid in cyber miles. Is that even still a thing? Is cyber miles even still a crypto project? If so, man, it sucks. It never did anything. Yeah, here it is. Let's see where it is. Cyber miles. Coming in at 673. This at one time was in the top 100, guys. Cyber miles. Shows you how fast life comes at you. Back when they were accepting it in 2018, it was worth the peak. This is probably the peak of the price, actually. At one time, the peak of the price was, I can't get that one notch. We'll just say it was around, it looks like 60 cents. 60 cents right now coming in at almost a penny, so down 60x. It's down 60x. How about that? But Mark Cuban was accepting that for the Dallas Mavericks. Cyber miles was like a frequent flyer mile project. All the useless knowledge of projects I have that never went anywhere is amazing. But he's talking out both sides of his mouth. And this is what I want you to remember about these people, okay? Because look, when Bitcoin gets to $1 million, you're going to have people like this guy right here trying to act like they were the expert and they knew what was going on, when really it was this guy, okay? It was this guy. This is the guy that knew, okay? It was this guy. These people are going to come try to take our clout, okay? And I ain't having it, all right, Cuban? Why do people like Mark Cuban talk out of both sides of their mouth about Bitcoin and about cryptocurrency? It's very simple. It's called hedging your bets. This way, if Bitcoin goes to zero, he can point to all his comments in the past and say, oh, I told you it wasn't going to do good. I told you the blah, 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 blah. If it does well and goes to $1 million, what is he going to be able to point to? He's going to be able to point to, I told you it would survive. I told you it'd be good. I owned Bitcoin. Obviously, I believed in it. We accepted Bitcoin with the Dallas Mavericks. And that's why these guys do this. They will be able to point back. They hedge their bet so they can always say that they were right. Don't you want some people with some strong conviction? Some people that actually stick to what they say? Some people that aren't afraid to back down from what they believe about something, even if it's not popular to believe a certain thing about a certain thing? Well then, in the year 2021, make sure you vote for BitBoy. I'm going to be running for president of crypto, okay, for a long time. So anyways, guys, listen, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I appreciate all you guys. We are coming up to $300,000 or 300,000 subscribers. Before you know it, we're definitely going to hit 300,000 subscribers before Bitcoin hits $300,000. But I believe both I and Bitcoin will hit 300K. Anything else, TJ? We got any questions or anything else we want to get to? Nope. All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day. That's not what I say. Be blessed. That's all I got. Be blessed.